Good evening. My name is Chad Whiting, Director of Water and Sewer for the City of Somerville. Thank you for attending tonight's presentation of the recommended water and sewer rate adjustments for FY22. I'd like to take a moment to thank the men and women of your water and sewer department staff, who throughout the COVID-19 pandemic showed tremendous dedication to the city, showing up to operate our water and sewer systems. This critical infrastructure cannot be operated remotely. This dedication allowed constituents of Somerville to remain safely at home with uninterrupted water and sewer services. Water and sewer staff are truly essential personnel and deserve to be recognized for their service to the city. Somerville staff and our consulting engineers, Stantec, have worked together to develop a detailed financial model for long-term rate forecasting of rate adjustments that support system maintenance, capital improvements, and support service reliability. Together with my colleague, Director of Finance, Alex Marini-Lesson, we will walk you through our FY22 rate proposal. For those seeking more details about how the proposal was developed, please refer to the FY22 rate presentation that was presented to the Finance Committee on April 20th by the Somerville team. Next slide, please. From 6 to 6:30, we'll run through the presentation. Promptly at 6:30, we will open the hearing to the public for testimony. Please post your name in the chat with your address to testify tonight. Once the hearing opens, Alex will unmute your microphone. Testimony will be taken in the order it was received. We will also unmute phone callers at the end to provide a chance for you to testify if you're calling by phone. We will also answer questions both before and after the hearing as time allows. Please type your questions into the chat and we will answer them in the order they are received. Next slide, please. The Water and Sewer Department, in partnership with MWRA, provide water and sewer services to over 80,000 Somerville residents in the form of safe, clean drinking water to your home, conveyance of wastewater from your home to treatment, and sufficient water flow and pressure for firefighting needs. Next slide, please. The Water and Sewer Department is a not-for-profit service. Rate adjustments are devoted to support water and sewer infrastructure. Without rate adjustments, we are unable to maintain service reliability, make needed repairs, and fund infrastructure replacement and improvements. Infrastructure replacement is necessary as most of our infrastructure is operating beyond the useful expected life. Next slide, please. A large majority of our water and sewer revenues are consumed by the MWRA assessment for water supply and sewer treatment costs. 58% of water enterprise budget for water supply, 63% of sewer enterprise budget for sewer treatment. As MWRA assessments increase, our rate adjustments need to increase to keep pace with the rising assessments. Next slide, please. It is important to understand the water and sewer enterprise funds are separate from the city's general fund. Water and sewer services are a core function of your city's government. Water and sewer bills fund four major categories of expenses. One, the largest being the MWRA assessments. Two, capital improvements for infrastructure rehabilitation and replacement. Three, maintenance and repairs such as water leak repairs, sewer manhole and sewer main repairs. Four is the operational cost for staff and equipment, facilitating the daily operation of our system. Without proper rate adjustments, the funding of any one of these categories will begin to suffer, reducing service reliability of our city's core infrastructure. Next slide, please. The City of Somerville's water distribution system has approximately 125 miles of pipeline ranging from 4-inch to 20 inches in diameter. The Somerville sewer system consists of approximately 128 miles of sewer mains ranging from 4 inches to 60 inches in diameter. The system consists of over 29,000 water and sewer service accounts, 4,000 manholes, 1,600 fire hydrants, and over 2,000 gate valves. All this infrastructure requires preventative maintenance, repair, and replacement. Some of our accomplishments this year. We have started a water gate valve exercising program, which will facilitate a successful flushing program. As we find valves that are not working, we are replacing them. Water system flushing will begin the week of May 10th, 2021. Water crews continue to replace fire hydrants that are found to be out of service in a timely manner. Water crews operate our system for ongoing maintenance such as valve replacement, water system flushing, and in emergencies. As the good weather arrives, we will begin the painting of hydrants. During fiscal 21, we have replaced 40 hydrants, replaced over 35 gate valves, and addressed 29 water leaks to date, as we still have more time in FY21. The sewer crews are working to clean and inspect our MS4 stormwater catch basins to meet compliance requirements of our stormwater program. Sewer crews are also cleaning sewer lines to prevent system blockages, which lead to sewer backups and overflows. During fiscal 21, sewer crews have cleaned over 420 catch basins and high-pressure jet washed over 33,000 linear feet of sewer main to date. Both departments work daily to keep up with dig-safe requests to protect our city's infrastructure from damage by contractors working in our system. Next slide, please. In this graph, you can see some of Somerville's water and sewer infrastructure piping was installed as early as 1800. This infrastructure is operating beyond the useful life expectancy. 90% of our system being over 50 years old and 70% being over 100 years old. During my first 90 days as Director of Water and Sewer, the city's water distribution system suffered 14 major water main breaks. We are in critical need of system replacement and rehabilitation to keep our system in operating reliability. Working in concert with infrastructure and asset management, we have developed a detailed capital improvement plan outlining our needs over the next 10 years. Details of the system needs will be discussed as we work through the FY22 budget process. The city is under administrative order to maintain and separate sewer and stormwater systems. Annual rate adjustments allow us to remain in compliance with increasing regulatory demands. Next slide, please. Older water mains in our city operate in a reduced capacity due to tuberculation, as seen in these photos. Tuberculation is caused by the deposition of minerals and sediment on the interior wall of the pipe, reducing the pipe diameter. This reduces the volume and impacts fire protection flow capacities. Once the accumulation of tuberculation reaches this point, we have two options: rehabilitation through cleaning and lining, or full replacement. Next slide, please. Major cost drivers for rate adjustments are increases in MWRA fees for water supply and sewage treatment, infrastructure improvements that address long-standing system needs, administrative consent orders, compliance with DEP and EPA regulations. Director Marie Lesson will now present the FY22 rate proposal.
Thank you so much, Director Whiting, for explaining the needs of our water distribution and sewer and stormwater collector systems. As a reminder, our public hearing starts tonight at 6:30 p.m. If you would like to testify, please write your name and address in the chat box. If you are on the phone, we will open up the lines for you to testify following those attending via webinar. During this presentation, if you have a question, please feel free to type it in the chat box. If there is time before the public hearing, we will try to answer those questions. At 6:30, we will have to stop, open the public hearing, hear our testimony, and for those who wish to stay following the public hearing, we can have a further discussion. For fiscal year 2022, the Water and Sewer Department has submitted a recommended 7% increase to each volumetric tier in water and a 10.5% increase to each volumetric tier in sewer. There is no change to the base charges, which are fixed and are tied to meter size. As part of the fiscal 22 budget, the department is proposing an increase for the fee in the electronic meter reading device to reflect changes in our costs in purchasing each device. This would only be paid if you are voluntarily adding meters to your property, for example, for new construction or for additional condos. Recommended rates for water usage for FY22 are shown on this slide. As a reminder, each billing unit is 100 cubic feet or 748 gallons. So the first 8 billing units, or the first 5,984 gallons of water used, would be charged at a rate of $4.49 per billing unit. The vast majority of households in Somerville stay within Tier 1 or Tier 2, as pictured here. While we expect to explore changes in our rate design starting in August, the rate structure currently in place will remain for fiscal 22. Recommended sewer usage rates for fiscal 22 are shown here. Sewer charges are billed similar to water, where one billing unit is equivalent to 748 gallons or 100 cubic feet. The first 8 billing units would be charged at $8.82 per unit, or about 1.2 cents per gallon. This slide shows the annual cost for average households in Somerville. Keep in mind, of course, your home may be different. This past year may have been especially different if you were working from home. For example, if you have an older toilet, each flush could be 5 gallons of water, which is usage you used at home rather than at work. Looking at this slide, running through an example of a 2-family home, which uses an average of 30 units per bill, or just over 67,000 gallons per year, that property would see an annual increase of $130. If we assume for a second there's 2 households inside that double-decker building with 1 meter feeding the building, that translates to a change in each household's bill from last year to this year of $5.42 per month. The previous 3 slides, including this one, also available on our website at the Water Department's website. Beginning later this year, the Water Department will be replacing water meters in residential units as they reach beyond their useful life. New water meters will give homeowners greater controls over monitoring their water use. They'll allow you to set specific goals in your water use. Be sure to keep your contact information current so that staff can reach someone at the service address to set up an appointment when the time comes. The city currently offers several options for financial assistance. Please keep in mind, no water is shut off in Somerville due to non-payment of water and sewer bills. Those that qualify for property tax exemptions, including exemptions for residents 65 years of age or over, or those experiencing other hardships, qualify for a 25% discount on all water and sewer charges. Please consult the assessor's office for more information on how to apply and qualify for those programs. We have also proposed a new affordability program starting in fiscal 22, and I want to thank the current members of the City Council for advocating strongly to increase the city's level of assistance. For more details on the specifics of the program, I suggest looking at the presentation from the April 20th Finance Committee meeting. Of course, details will follow upon passage of that program. With that, I will pass it back to Director Whiting.
Thank you, Director Lesson. And we want to make sure that all of you have signed up for our AquaHawk program. AquaHawk will learn your average daily usage and give you alerts for higher than normal usage. If something were to go wrong, if you have a leak or something in your house caused you to use more than at your average water usage. If you are currently signed up in the past, please make sure we have your latest contact information so that you are getting the alerts to the correct device that you would like to receive them on. You can sign up by going to soma.aquahawk.us/login. Next slide, please. Please be sure you have typed your name and address into the chat if you wish to testify this evening. Please type any questions you may have so we can answer them as time allows. Phone calls, we will also give you a chance to speak before the end of the hearing. We'll accept written testimony until May 7th, 2021. Please email testimony to water@somervillema.gov or mail directly to 17 Franey Rd, Somerville, Mass. 02145. Next slide, please. In conclusion, we are requesting a rate adjustment of 7% for water and 10.5% for sewer. For more details on how the rate adjustments were determined, please visit the city website and view the April 20, 2021 Finance Committee meeting. The Water and Sewer Department appreciates your attendance to tonight's presentation. We will open the hearing promptly at 6:30 p.m. You may have a few minutes to answer some questions now.
Thank
Alex,
you, Director.
are you seeing any questions?
Yes, I see a couple of questions. Looks like a couple of folks have let us know that they have a question. So in the order we've received, I'll unmute your microphone and then allow you to ask. You can also feel free to just chat that question in the chat box or in the question box. So the first person who asked was Kat Joseph. So Kat, I am going to unmute your microphone to give you the opportunity to ask, or again, you can certainly chat that question if you prefer. Just got to figure out how to do that.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. So yeah, my name is Kat Joseph, 5860 Glenwood Road. And I mean, really my comment was just, I wanted to express my concerns about the hikes in the rates, just because, yeah, both of my parents own a 2-family in 5860 Glenwood Road, and the water costs have been extremely high, despite the fact that they're essential workers and have been going to work during this period of COVID-19. So it still really concerns me that prices have been already unbearable, and now there's going to be an additional, hike on these prices. And I don't feel as though the programs to help assist homeowners go far enough. Like the gaps between who they serve is way too large. We're talking about people who are maybe 65, who are making less than like 35K. And maybe I need to refresh myself on the programs, but at least the latest ones that I evaluated, that didn't qualify for any of them. And so I was finding that the gaps for who those support programs are intended to assist are far and few between. And so, one thing I want to flag is taking a look back at those qualifiers to really ensure that, populations that are still considered low income have the opportunity to receive additional support for affordability of the water and sewer rates that are being provided. And then, another thing that I noticed too was like, on our street, there's been water leaking down the street for like the past 5 days. And I don't know if it's like a water main break or construction related to water main repairs, but I'm kind of curious about like, who's absorbing those costs. And so anyways, the larger concern is like the fees have been disproportionately burdening single and double family homes in the city of Somerville. And so I think like that definitely needs to be addressed. Like I think the water and sewer costs in Somerville are 3 times higher, 5 times higher than some of the other neighboring cities. And that's a massive concern. And maybe that's a question that you all can answer too. Is there, what's so different about Somerville, I guess, that the rates are excessively higher than neighboring cities? Is it how we're sourcing the water? Like, and maybe that's like a deeper question, but that's just something that I'm not really able to wrap my head around at this point.
Thank you, Director. Before you answer, I just wanted to urge you to send in your testimony in writing, or if you'd like, and it's an incredibly ridiculous system in my opinion, but we'll open the hearing at 6:30 if you'd like to share your comments again, or if you just want to submit them in writing to our email address or write a letter. I've also recorded those notes But if you want to, as part of the public record, I just urge you to do that. That being said, I'm going to let Director Whiting answer your two excellent questions.
So you are correct. Water and sewer rate increases are challenging to navigate through. We have to look at all of our system needs, the age of our system, what we're seeing for needed repairs to give you reliable services. That balance between reliable service and rate adjustments is a delicate balance. Our infrastructure is extremely aging, and in my first 90 days, we experienced 14 water main breaks. So we need to invest significant capital to keep the system reliable and functioning within the needs of our current demands. I apologize that you've seen water on your street for the past few days. We are addressing a difficult water valve replacement coming up this Thursday night. It's going to have to be night work because it's going to affect a large shutdown. So we have been looking at the best way to attack that particular project. But we are sensitive to the rate increases, and that's why we developed a detailed model where we can plug our capital needs in, plug our operational needs in, and give you very accurate numbers on what we need to keep your system reliable and working in proper order for you. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, kind of.
Sorry, my light keeps going off. Yeah.
We had I know, Kat, again, if you'd like to submit testimony when the hearing opens, just type your name in the chat box, and we'll make sure to point the mic to you at that time. We also had a question from Justin Conway, and I will see if I can unmute. Okay.
Hi, my name is Justin Conway. I live at 49 Hinckley Street. I think, as a lot of Somerville residents are aware that there's not a ton of open space or green space in the city. For those of us that are fortunate enough to have any bit of yard space, keeping it green is a really precious, upkeep. And one thing that I have to say frustrates me a lot, and that is, accounted for in neighboring towns, is that I actually use a substantial amount of water to irrigate my lawn relative to my total water consumption. I don't have a problem with the supply side of that. What I do have a problem with is paying more than double the supply rate, or 1.5 times the supply rate, for sewer on all of that water that is never making it to the sewer and is just going on my lawn. In neighboring cities, there's exemptions and methods by which you can go about having either a dedicated water meter for your irrigation system that's non-potable and will avoid the sewer charge, or you'll look at a resident's water usage in the winter when there is no irrigation happening, and use that as baseline water consumption and not charge for the differential of summertime usage, and use that differential to negate some of the sewer charge. I was hoping that, or was curious if there's any way other than the current system of individually bill by bill asking for an abatement of some quantity of your bill, if there was going to be any system to account for those few of us who are lucky enough to have yards and also are interested in irrigating our lawns and keeping them in good shape for that tiny amount of precious outdoor space that we have.
Thank you for your question. I do understand the challenges of keeping the yard green. Here in Somerville, we pay for water and sewer as it comes through the meter from MWRA. So when the water comes through the meter, we get billed both water and sewer, and that's the way we charge back out. There is no mechanism for us to be able to give those rebates, and if we go down that road, we start to move away from water conservation, which is driven by our regulatory agencies and MWRA as well. So we need to promote water conservation in balance with both being charged for water and sewer as it comes through the meter. And I totally understand your challenges of the desire to keep your yards green. We've been thinking of other ways to help in this situation with facilitating some kind of incentives for using rain barrels and that kind of stuff, but you'll see that coming up in the near future as we talk about stormwater and storm drains.
So then it sounds like the root cause of this is that with the contract that Somerville has with the MWRA is different than, for example, Cambridge or Arlington or Watertown, where there's either this separate meter or the exemption that they're able to provide.
I am, forgive me because I'm not familiar with the other surrounding cities, but I will familiarize myself for further discussions about this.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't see any other questions, so in a moment I will open the public hearing officially. I will say the public hearing is now open. Anyone who wishes to testify, please just put your name and address in the chat box. You can also, I think I have the hang of this webinar system, so you can also say that you have a question and I'll call on you. And again, this is not the only time to submit testimony. Please feel free to either email our office, water@somerville.ma.gov, or you can write in to 17 Franey Rd in Somerville, Mass. We'll keep written testimony open until Friday at 6 p.m. So it being 6:30, I'd like to officially open the public hearing for water and sewer rates in fiscal 22. Anyone that would like to testify and be added to the public record, you will be heard. If anyone wishes to testify, please write your name in the chat box or say that you have a question. Thank you.
Alex, if you just want to back up one slide, you'll display the address for them to mail in any testimony or email any testimony. Thank you.
Okay, I am going to officially close the portion of the public hearing for testimony. Seeing and waiting. Justin Conway has asked if you can ask another question. Justin, you can absolutely ask another question, and you can testify. Let me just unmute you. Justin, would you like to submit testimony?
I don't know which is better. I was just curious if I could ask a follow-up question about the potential of adding like the possibility of what it would take to get a second meter set up, like that option, because I think that would potentially address both the conservation angle and the sewer angle if there was any possibility of negotiating with MWRA on how the supply and sewer could be decoupled and not as one total charge.
So I would, if I could just make a recommendation, which would be state your name and address. Again, ask your question and sort of urge the department to take action on it.
Okay.
And then after that, yeah, I mean, if it's not obvious, I'll ask you to ask your question again. Otherwise, Director Whiting can address that question directly after your testimony. So does that sound okay?
Yeah, perfect. Just wanted to just make it as work as best as possible.
And I can give you webcam as well if you'd like. Would you like to appear?
That doesn't matter to me.
Okay, let me see here. don't think I can. No, I'm sorry. I apologize. This is first time for me. So
No worries.
just take it away with audio. Thank you.
Sure. My name's Justin Conway. I live at 49 Hinckley Street. My question and issue was about paying the sewer charge on the portion of my water usage that is used for irrigating my yard. I understand that Director Whiting has answered that the city of Somerville gets charged supply and sewer charges as one unit, not as separate units. My question is there any possibility of negotiating that to be different such that there are two separate individual charges? And if that is possible, is it possible to implement a system where a second water meter could be added to any particular address that is exempt from sewer charges and is plumbed such that it only supplies irrigation for a yard and, you know, can't be plumbed to be abused to circumvent sewer, but also saves the homeowner the sewer cost of water that is never entering the sewer in the first.
Thank you, Justin. Is there anyone else who wishes to testify at tonight's public hearing? Okay, so I'm going to close the public hearing. And again, if anyone wishes to testify, I apologize for my paraphrasing. The instructions are right here, and we will hold the written comment open until Friday at 6 o'clock. Director, can you address Justin's second question about maybe installing a different meter, and if there's possibility to separate charges?
So I would have to get back to you, Justin, on a detailed answer to his question. We do receive two separate bills from MWRA, one for water and one for sewer, but we are gauged on the water coming through the water meter to get our sewer charges that we pay to MWRA. So I will look at your question in further detail. I'll research what other communities are doing and start that process of researching what we could do to help Somerville residents like yourself.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Alex, do you want to try is anyone on the phone?
Not that I can tell. I will unmute everyone for a moment. And see. If anyone's on the phone, please let us know. Giving control over to all participants. Okay, nope. Okay. I do not think so. Nope, but if you are on the phone and you're trying desperately to reach us, I'm so sorry. Please do feel free to call our number while we are closed. We do answer all messages quickly. You can also email us or write us at the addresses shown on the screen.
Or if you cannot see the screen, it's water@somervillema.gov for the email address, or mail your questions or testimony to 17 Franey Rd, Somerville, Mass. 02145. I do appreciate the attendance tonight. I do appreciate your feedback. So please, not just on water and sewer rates, water and sewer concerns, please email us and let us know how we can serve you better. I've recently taken this position back in December and look forward to working with all constituents to make your water and sewer services seamless and keep your system reliable and operating to the best of its capacity. I want to encourage anyone to reach out with any water and sewer concerns to our department at water@somervillema.gov or mail your questions into 17 Franey Rd, Somerville, Mass. 02145. Thank you very much and have a great evening.